Hi, Libra. I hope you guys are doing great today. Before we get into your general messages for the 23rd to the 31st, I wanted to just take care of a couple of housekeeping things. Some of you may have noticed a community post that I put up the other day regarding somebody claiming to be associated with me, and they were, excuse me, luring people to some sort of false site, and people were purchasing readings and they were getting duped, and it was just not a good situation. So I want to let you guys know I'm not on social media. I'm not on WhatsApp. That's what this particular person did, among other things. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on any of that stuff. I've been off of social media since 2015, except for this. Some of you know I have a celebrity in my family, and you deal with a lot of weird stuff when you have a celebrity in your family, people asking for odd favors, whatever. So I'm just not on social media. It's just, so it's never me. If somebody claims to be me on a Facebook page or Instagram, it's actually happening a lot more and more to different readers and different astrologers. So just to put that out there. Second, three rather of my readings, I'm running 20% off specials for the month of November. I'm sorry, I didn't run any specials in October. My schedule was just really, really jammed. So 20% off of the birth chart report analysis, the report only. So when you book it, the date that you book is your to be delivered by date. The second one is the same idea where it's your full birth chart analysis, but it's with a video and some extra information. And then the third one is if you don't know your birth time, this would be a good option for you if you wanted to take advantage of the 20% off for the mixed bag tarot. So that when you don't need your birth time, it's just straight up tarot, and it addresses several areas in your life, and it's an hour long. So those coupon codes are in the description box below, as will the timestamps for what we're going to be doing today. Okay. And I'm also going to be putting the timestamps in the comment section because I know a lot of you do appreciate that. So I'm happy to do it. So let's get into the astrology, shall we? Right? We have the sun moving into Scorpio. And so this is happening for you guys in your second house. So whenever the sun moves into a house, there's a lot of focus in that energy. So let's talk about what Scorpio season means anyway, right? Scorpio is the great investigator. They are the detectives of the zodiac. They know how to look underneath things. They know how to ask the right questions and try to get to the bottom of things to figure things out. They really are very, very good at that. Virgo is the problem solvers of the zodiac, we say, right? And it's true because they're very critical thinking, but Scorpio is a different type of problem solver. Scorpio really knows how to find the beauty in something and really kind of hone in and focus on that as a way of trying to rectify or fix a situation, right? That's the illuminated part. The shadow manifestation of Scorpio is obsession, is anxiety, is manipulation, of very dark tendencies. So, and this is something that we all need to be very mindful of right now in Scorpio season, is this potential, just because, especially in the beginning of the season, because all of these big players are coming out of retrograde. And as they come out of retrograde, all of those energies, as I mentioned in my last video, are heightened. Everything is sort of brought to the top, right? So it's something to keep in mind, because you have this energy happening in your second house, but we also have Mars is going to be moving in there on the 30th. And Mars is a very assertive energy. It really is. It's very fresh path, new perspective, even if I have to fight for it. But it's this energy that is very fire. And it's in this house of earth, because the second house is the Taurus is the landlord there. It's for earth sign. And the sun, which is fire, and Scorpio's water. So you have such a mix of elements in the second house. So what is the second house for you guys? Yes, it's the money that you make from the work that you do, but it's so much more than that. It's your work ethic. It's your possessions. It's your valuables and what you value. It's your sense of self-concept and how you feel about where you're at in your life. That's all second house stuff. So there's going to be a lot of focus on that. And if you're not happy with where you're at, in as far as your relationships, your money, because the second house works in tandem with the eighth house, right? They're ascendant and descendant from each other. And that eighth house has to do with how you show up as a we in relationship. It's your partner's money. It's how you and your partner are sharing money, are blending money, are sharing communication, sharing intimacy. And it's sitting in this natural opposition. And you have Uranus and Taurus in that eighth house energy here. So right, I'm looking at your chart, right? Because I have it right now. So that there's some sort of changes going on here, because Uranus is all about shaking things up. And we've been talking about that for a while. Uranus is retrograde in that eighth house for you until the middle of January. So there's going to be this sort of like me versus we energy, and you feeling very, I'm going to say it in a positive way, because when I say that you're going to be ready to fight for something, in a way where you're going to be very focused on, let me backtrack before I say this next line. Coming out of Libra season, we're very like, your season's all about the scales, right? What's fair, what's not. There could be a lot of struggle with indecisiveness, true. But this focus on what's fair, what's not. As we go into Scorpio season, whatever, if you're feeling like something wasn't fair, right? Or something was just not like really what you wanted it to be, you can't not see it. Scorpio season shines this floodlight on it, right? And so there you are looking at, how do you feel about what it is that you're in? How you feeling about the money that you make? And how you feeling about what it is that you own, what it is that you have? Do you want more? Are you happy with where you're at? Do you want to make some sort of adjustments? What's going on there? So there's going to be a lot of focus there, okay? Just straight out of the gate. That's what's going on with the sun in Scorpio. I actually think this is going to be very good for you to make some good changes, because Scorpio, ruled by the modern ruler, is Pluto. The original ruler is Mars. So Scorpio has a lot of this Mars Plutonian energy sort of working at it. But there's a lot of energy here that would indicate change, because remember, Scorpio is all about change. Wherever Scorpio is in our chart, wherever Pluto is in our chart, is not meant to stay the same. It's meant to change. It's meant to transform. Micro, macro, it depends on what part of life you're in, right? Small changes are big changes. But this square, when Mars is in your first house up until the 30th, so from the 23rd to the 29th, Mars is still going to be in your first house of self, and it's going to be squaring Pluto in your fourth house. So what does this look like? This looks like you thinking about what it is that you want in your life, having to do with what you need to feel grounded, rooted, and safe and secure. You're going to be looking very closely at your home life. You know, are you living with somebody that you feel connected with? Are you resonating with the person that you share a home with, or the person that you consider home, even if you guys don't actually live together? How are you feeling about where you live? Right? When we have Mars squaring with Pluto, because Mars is like the warrior energy, and Pluto's all about the need for change. And it's about looking at the past and how has everything been looking up to this point. Pluto is an energy of assessment, and it's all about, okay, what's my reality? Where do I want to go? What do I need to throw out? And with Mars there, there's not going to be a lot of space for you to say like, oh, I'll deal with this next week, or I'll deal with this in a couple of months, or let me get through this time period. You can do that, but it's going to be playing on you. It's really going to be playing on you in a very significant way. So those are those main things that I really wanted to discuss. A couple of things that I do like: Mercury in the first is sextiling Venus in the third. So Mercury coming out of retrograde, still going to be in post shadow till the end of the month, beginning of November, depending on where it is that you live. But that's a nice energy for communicating, right? Because Mercury is about communication, and the third house is ruled by Mercury. So Mercury coming and Venus, which is all about, if things are challenging, wherever Venus is, Venus sort of takes the rough edges off the points of a situation, right? So Venus in the third house, it's going to be easy for you to communicate in a way that's more agreeable, that's just more fair. Not that you guys aren't fair, right? You guys are Libra, but Venus rules you, right? So, you're very comfortable with this energy. But what I like about this more than anything, though, is that you have this Sagittarius South Node in your third house. And in that third house of communication, of siblings, of your neighborhood, of, all modes of communication, you're changing in this area, and you're going to finish the change probably around the first or second week of January, when the South Node moves into Scorpio. But for now, the way you handle communication is changing, and I think this is going to really, really benefit you very much so, beginning this week that we're talking about. Very nice energy for having an important conversation. More than anything, though, I'm recommending to everyone, wait until Mars moves into Scorpio to have an important conversation. So like the 30th, the 31st is really the best. So also Venus in the third is sextiling Jupiter in the fifth. Guys, if you're single, amazing energy to meet somebody online, to communicate with somebody online, to communicate with somebody in person. His third house is all modes of communication. And that fifth house is falling in love, love affairs, romance. For those of you not in that space, fifth house is also children. So beautiful energy to just hang with your kids, communicate with children. Amazing energy if you are writing any sort of creative project, if you're doing anything creative, anything like that. Excellent. This is a beautiful Venus exiling Jupiter in the fifth. Jupiter's about expansion. It's a very benefic energy. So very like thumbs up energy having to do with, but keep in mind that fifth house energy, when we're talking about falling in love, love affairs, romance, it's not that marriage energy, right? Marriage energy is more seventh house. The deeply entrenched sort of soul contractual energy is more seventh house. The fifth house, it's a relationship energy, but it's more that falling in love, love affair, the romance of it all of that, right? So you can absolutely be, amping up the romance in your longer relationship. There's a beautiful energy to allow for that, light some candles and do whatever you guys want to do, but beautiful energy for that. Great energy again for creativity. Again, Venus in the third is going to be squaring now Neptune in the sixth. So a lot of you may be like, oh, Libra, how do you feel about your job? You're like, I don't know. It's there, because that Neptune energy in Pisces in the sixth house of your day-to-day work experience, that could be a little challenging for you as far as you feeling very sold and solid on what it is that you're doing for a living, right? Because you're really questioning, is this fair? Is it equitable? Is my skill set matching my salary? And, am I capable of more? That kind of thing could certainly show up. Also, Venus, which is also about feeling good about yourself, is in a square. It's in tension with this Neptune in the sixth. Sixth house is also your mental, physical, and emotional health. And Neptune does rule disease, and it rules things that we can't see. So some of you, the square can bring on this feeling where I'm not feeling myself. I feel like maybe I need to start taking better care of myself in whatever way that is for you. Maybe going to a therapist, changing your workout routine, going for a checkup, whatever it is. If you're feeling this tension about, how it is that you're feeling about, especially if you are struggling with any sort of depression or anything like that, or anxiety, because that Venus in the third, when it's squaring Neptune, you could be feeling like, I feel like I'm sacrificing myself for the sake of the life that I'm living in the day to day. And that could include relationships. That could include a job. That could include anything that's part of your day-to-day experience. Because that is that Neptunian is sacrificial energy. Venus just wants you to feel really good and be very on point. But with Venus in that house of communication, squaring that sacrificial energy, you could feel like you're talking, and you might even be feeling like you're making headway regarding how things are in that relationship or that situation you're in your day-to-day, having to do with work or that family situation, whatever it is, whatever's part of your daily experience. but you feel this, like there's this disjointed energy where things are not really going the way that you would really like. You know, in your mind's eye, it looked one way, but in the execution of it, it's coming out very differently. And it's making you feel this tension that you need to look at. Squares are not bad. Squares are needed tension that we must have. Otherwise, we get very complacent and then we don't bother changing things, right? So that's what ends up happening there. So I'm going to just scoot this over, and whatever I think of as we go along to add to the astrology, I will. But for now, let's drop this down and let's get into a Celtic cross spread for the general messages here. Okay, all right. So let's get into the general messages for our Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Guys, remember these are general messages. Take what resonates, throw out the rest. Don't try to make it fit. It's not your reading. Okay. Emperor. And your challenge is the Nine of Cups. Wow. You just really want a fresh path, a new start. You're just like, give me new. But the challenge is you're having a hard time accessing how exactly you manifest that. Feeling very disappointed and disillusioned regarding a situation. Pull all the cards and then we'll talk. All right. Okay, so 10 of Cups coming into this energy. 10 of Cups is all about happiness, deepening of commitment, deepening of communication, business going really well, connections going really well, you know, contentment, benefits of security, right? You feeling secure in a job, secure in a home, secure in that family situation, whatever it is. But everything's rolling out pretty well here, from communication to romance to business to family. You know, at least having those important conversations, things going along pretty well. But here we are, the Emperor energy. So Libra, you really are in a space where you want to take control of circumstances right now. I feel like things have been rolling out for you where new opportunities have been popping up sort of left, right, and center that are really making you think, that are giving you pause for thought. You know, whether it's getting into a new career, taking advantage of some sort of potential new opportunity, at least doing your homework, you know, looking into something. And what I feel like here with the Emperor energy, it's like you have the idea, it's in your mind's eye. You could actually see how you would like things to roll out. But if I were to ask you, Libra, how are you actually going to make that happen? Everything is sort of like an ish, like you sort of know, but you don't really know for sure. So that you may be in this space of trying to manifest, right, exactly what it is that you want, but you might be challenged to do that, right? With the Nine of Cups, this is, obviously it's about happiness and wishes manifesting, right? For some of you, it does indicate new romance or meeting new friends, which is great. But whatever it is that you're doing, you're feeling more connected to your own heart, right? This is an energy of growth because it's a Jupiter and Pisces energy, which is great, except this is showing up as your challenge. So it's like the element of growth is really hard for you, even though you could see in your mind's eye what it is that you want. You want to grow in a particular direction. Some of you are maybe in this space where if you're in a relationship, let's just address it to the different parts of life. If you're in a relationship, the Emperor energy has to do with you guys sitting down and speaking very pragmatically about the future and addressing things that need addressing in the relationship and you moving forward. But if that is your situation right now, if that's where you're at, you want to sit down and plan. There's a situation that's getting in the way of your growth, right? So you may be with a partner who's just not on the same page as you. For those of you who are single, the Emperor energy could actually indicate you meeting somebody new, right? But the Nine of Cups is your challenge, is like you're not feeling that level of connection that you would ultimately really like to feel. If this has to do with a work situation, and the Emperor really is, again, that leadership energy, right? But it's about the being in this space where finances might be balancing out and this and that, okay, things sort of coming together, okay, but you really getting in touch with the fact, do you feel passionate about what it is that you're doing in your day-to-day experience? Or do you feel like you're sacrificing yourself? Again, you have that Neptune energy in your sixth house. Do you feel like very underwhelmed, very disimpassioned by what it is that you're doing. Because right now you're in this space where you want new, but you can't bring that growth to yourself. And the basis of the situation is the moon. And the moon does indicate some element of disappointment if it has to do with relationship, confusion, feeling like somebody has let you down, and truly feeling a lack of trust that a relationship is actually going to work in the long run, which can actually push you to make a decision about the relationship. Some of you can be in that space. If this has to do with career or money, you might achieve a goal, but you ultimately feel like, you know what, was it worth the effort? Because you might be working in a place where emotions run high. You maybe have toxic colleagues, or you might feel like there's some sort of need to protect yourself from others' negativity in one way or the other. Even if money matters is stable, you want more satisfaction from work than just a paycheck. You want it to mean more to you, right? Remember, the moon rules Cancer, and Cancer energy has to believe in what it is that they're doing. They have to feel very connected, right? So that's the basis of the situation that's supporting the current situation, which is the Page of Cups. Now we have the page. A page always indicates a new cycle, and cups is our emotional space. So this is good news about an emotional aspect of your life, having to do with love, money, family, something creative, something like that. For some of you, this could indicate a new potential partner on the near horizon. Always want to watch out though with this energy. You don't want to get swept up too soon, right? But this could certainly have to do with some sort of, you at least looking into some sort of new opportunity, because you're realizing where it is that you're working. It's just like not checking off all of your boxes. Between the Emperor and the Moon, there is this energy where it's like, not so much, right? Having to do with your work. If this has to do with relationship, some of you may be in the space where you're feeling very disappointed, disillusioned about a relationship, and you are either looking to start a new cycle, like maybe go to therapy, do something to fix the current relationship, or you're just all about meeting somebody new, because you're realizing that the relationship that you're in is really not going to end up bringing what it is that you want. Oh my gosh, yeah. And here we have the card of advice, right? Spirit really wants you to look at the Knight of Pentacles and how this may be playing out in the situation. So there really is this energy for some of you, if it has to do with connection to something, this energy of overwhelm. That person might be really loyal and dependable. They might have seemingly a lot to offer, but they can be kind of maybe boring or slow to share their feelings, or there's just something missing and you're not feeling that, that connection, that yes, this is it. Some of you, if you're feeling that, you might be like, you know what, honey, I have had the excitement, and I will take loyal and dependable over anything else any day of the week, in which case that would be fine. Right? Some of you, though, are going to be on the other end of the spectrum where you're going to feel like something's missing if it has to do with relationship. Same thing with a job, though, where, you might be in this job that's pretty solid and it's secure, at least for now, and you're recognizing that, but you feel like something's missing. Now, again, if you were unemployed for a long time, just the fact that you're working, you're like, thank you for the work. Others of you may be in the space where it's like something's missing, because you're all about increasing your prosperity and financial growth and making good investments and increasing your money or making connections and all of that, right? But the thing is here as well, there's going to be a lot of work required to make something work. So if it has to do with, let's say, career, you're all about moving yourself forward in this area, increasing your prosperity. You're going to be working more than you have in a very long time, if ever. Number one, it's not a bad thing. It's just the way it is. Others of you, if it has to do with relationship, you're going to have to work very hard at trying to keep yourself balanced in a situation where you feel like there's a sense of lack. And you know how this can roll out, right? Where you're in the relationship and you're trying to stay optimistic and you have your ideas of what's possible that, I'm not saying you, just people in general, project onto a situation. But if that person is just not that person, then they're not capable, that can end up inciting some sort of cyclical energy within the relationship, where because you're bored or frustrated, drama could be drawn up, tensions can be had, right? Or Libra, I mean, you guys could just kind of go into disconnect and shut down, and for a while and then come back around is very interesting. Now you're dealing with an energy external to you. Four of Cups is a very apathetic and a very restless energy. This could be somebody who's very bored, again, restless, wondering, is this ever going to work out? Are things ever going to be peaceful? Or, this could even be your boss. This could be colleagues. This could be a family member, anyone external to you, having to do with some sort of situation that they're engaged in with you, where they're pointing the fingers as everything being you. And that's where the immaturity of this energy comes in. Because while we could sit and always say, well, this situation isn't working out because so-and-so does A, B, and C, well, they might have a point subjectively. Maybe that's their experience, but they're not looking at themselves. So I feel like you are dealing with an energy in one way, shape, or form that's not very emotionally intelligent, where they like to point the finger and they're not looking at themselves very clearly, because there's very obviously something that they need to heal within themselves. But whatever's going on here, you're having a really hard time staying in it. It's like the Nine of Wands energy is not a bad energy. It's an energy of strength. And it does indicate that even though you're very tired and you've been going through something in a particular situation, you still have the resiliency to overcome whatever it is. Even if you're feeling defensive and negative now, you can, if you hang in there, things can go in your favor. But your psychological challenge is doing that. It's like with this Mars energy, the way Mars is playing out between your first and second house this week, you're going to have so much energy brewing inside of you for change. You just are, and you're not going to want to deal with all the other nonsense. Now, just keep in mind, this is your internal psychology. And with Virgo in your 12th house, you're going to be very, very critical of everything going on. Very critical of, are you, because it's because that Virgo energy sits opposite your 6th house of your day-to-day work experience. Are you sacrificing what it is that you really want in your life just to serve your day-to-day needs? Are you sacrificing what you really want in a relationship or in a family situation or anything that you're engaging with in your day-to-day just to keep the peace? Are you sacrificing yourself? You're not going to want to do it anymore. So we have the Chariot in the near future. It's all about moving away from toxicity very quickly, right? I mean, this is a very expedited energy. It really is. So this is very quick changes. So if this has to do with career, it's just quick changes and progress in some sort of business situation or moving forward, something that you've been focusing on, something that you've been trying to bring to fruition finally happens. This is a very good energy for career and work and money. Absolutely. And I love that we have the 10 of Pentacles following that up. Yes. This is about maturing your money, deepening of a commitment to something, shared values. For some of you, this is shared property, inheritance. All right. Money comes to us in different ways. This is very much a family energy, right? It's a family, the 10 of Pentacles, you can even tell by the pictures, like a very family vibe there. This is a will you marry me card. Let's buy a house together. Let's do A, B, and C. But there are many people involved in this, right? But the Chariot is about, okay, some sort of financial situation being expedited, but some sort of relationship being expedited as well, because the Chariot is very focused on moving away from toxicity. Remember, in numerology, this is the Tower. This is the Tower in numerology. And the Tower is about the necessary surrender to the way something has been, because the way it's been has been really unhealthy. So now it's time to let that go and move in a better direction. Okay. Wow. We got some heavy hitters here, my friend. Woo. Okay. So as the Chariot is about leaving toxicity and ending up in a space where you're able to grow your life and grow yourself. So listen, if you feel like you're being held back in a relationship, that is not going to fly. You're going to be moving away from that toxicity. You might even be getting help from family or other people in your life Some of you may be getting money from a family member in some, or help in a particular way to help move you forward. But we don't really need to even focus on that. But it's this idea of moving away from toxicity into happiness. Now, getting more information on that 10 of Pentacles, I want to get the story of what's going on here. We're starting out with the Devil, which is all about imbalance. So this can have to do with addiction. It doesn't have to, any kind, or narcissistic tendencies, selfishness, cheating, anything like that, anything that would create an imbalance. And that imbalance is being clarified by the Page of Pentacles. So the page always incites a new cycle, and Pentacles obviously does have to do with money. So we could be, dealing with you getting a new job because of the incredible imbalance in your maybe work-life balance, right? You weren't having any, there was no balance there. So you're getting a new job because you just couldn't take it anymore, overwhelm of responsibility. And you want to really go after a different avenue of passion because you've learned your lesson regarding whatever's been going on having to do with money. We're dealing with this first, this money or this career situation, right? Clarifying the world is all about, first of all, the world is about learning a lesson. What's clarifying that? You're learning about this dishonesty, Judgment, and the Knight of Cups energy. So the Knight of Swords energy is a moon in Aquarius. It really is about dealing with dishonesty, immoral running away, a person who maybe oversteps boundaries, who's selfish, anything like that. The Knight of Swords, though, could also be you showing up every day at work like nothing's going on, but you feeling much differently inside because you're in the space of assessing things, right? And you're all about now, you want to get acknowledgement for your success coming in. You want to get acknowledgement for the skill set that you deliver. You want to get acknowledgement and be seen for everything that you bring to the table. And the second that you make that decision to make that switch, we have the Knight of Cups energy, which is about a new offer coming in. So that's having to do with career or money. If this has to do with the relationship, the imbalance in the relationship is being clarified by the Page of Pentacles. Again, Page does incite a new cycle. Pentacles is not only about money, it's also about mental, physical, and emotional connection. So for some of you, you may be in this space where you're ready to start a new cycle. If you're with somebody, meaning either in your current relationship or you're like, look, either we're going to work this out or I'm leaving. I'm open to a new cycle that's healthier and less toxic and more aligned with what it is that we're looking to do here together, or I need to go. Because some of you are just going to be like, I can't do this anymore with the 10 of Wands, right? You're never going to get where it is that you want to go, staying in it like it is. This is a Saturn in Sagittarius. Saturn is all about restriction. Sagittarius is about moving forward with integrity. So you want to move forward with integrity. You want to move forward in a healthy relationship, and you feel like you're being held back because of this person or this energy or the situation that's just not healthy, and they're holding you back. But you're like, goodbye. I gotta go because it's time for a new chapter of passion and motivation. And for some of you, relationship. Ace of Wands could indicate fertility, could indicate virility as well, but it's new beginnings. It's new beginnings. Very nice. And then we have the World. This is Saturn finished, Saturn completed. The lesson has been learned. This tells me that whatever situations were going on here, you have gone through it. You have been through it. There's been a lot, and you've learned your lesson. You've learned your lesson about the fact that you were dealing with somebody who is dishonest. You took that energy of dishonesty and you assessed it, and you made the decision to move it into a different space, saying, look, we all did the very best we knew how in the moment. The past is the past. Now I want to forgive so that I could live a lighter existence. I don't want that heavy energy on me, and I'm just going to move forward. Some of you are going to be meeting somebody brand new with the Knight of Cups energy. Others of you may be getting a proposal from this person that you're with, indicating that they want to do things differently. But what I like about this is there's some sort of stopgap measure here where you're not allowing things to go beyond a certain point. The energy does suggest that that's what you should be doing right now, Libra. So if you're in a space in your relationship where things aren't feeling very equitable, you're not feeling very, satisfied, okay, is a weird word, because what does that really even mean, right? It's so subjective. But if you're just feeling like things are just truly unfair and that the person that you're dealing with isn't really working with you, you have to have the conversation. This is really important to have the conversation. I feel like as we go into November. Otherwise, the eclipse season is going to come and then we see what that brings for you. But we have eclipses. The eclipses are starting next month and then again in December. So, see what we have for those of you in separation, okay? I feel like these came out. I don't remember what's happening. Everywhere I go, I look around as if you'll magically be there. Pull a couple of cards. The Hermit came up. This just randomly dropped out. We could put him here. The Hermit came out. So the Hermit really is about looking at the cycles within the relationship, trying to look at the common denominators of what keeps going on that made the relationship go south in the first place. And recognizing right from their point that a lot more energy and a lot more intention needed to be put into the relationship to sort of solve whatever issues were at hand. Let's pull 2 tarot for this first card. Everywhere I go, I look around as if you'll magically be there. We have that being clarified by the 4 of Cups and the Queen of Cups. So the 4 of Cups, again, is that energy of feeling sort of apathetic, of finger pointing, blaming you for everything. Didn't work out because of this, and this, or that, and that, right? And clarifying that is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is Gemini and Cancer energy. And this is very much in being in touch with what's necessary to make something work. Gemini is about communication and Cancer is about feeling grounded, rooted, safe, and secure. So it's almost like, it's a tricky energy, Libra, I have to tell you, because they seem like a good person. I do want to say that, but they don't seem very emotionally intelligent because it's almost like they're very quick to say, well, the issue with the relationship was and is the fact that you do, Libra, this, and this. And this is them saying, but I know it's necessary for us to feel grounded, rooted, safe, and secure in this relationship, but you're not showing up in the way that you need to. So it's because of you that this isn't working. But meanwhile, they're really missing you, but they can't take that ownership. And this is not about blaming. This is more about recognition. People get very tripped up and confused by that. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that, listen, person, when you did that, I'm not saying you intended to make me feel like this, but I ended up feeling this way because of what you said, did, or whatever, right? And that's acknowledging a feeling and recognizing, an action that took place, right? So people don't want to hear anything about it. They just think it's all one person. You. You were my sanctuary. You were the only person I could confide in. I betrayed your trust. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So this is so interesting because I feel like this person really does want healing with you. But again, they're a little immature. The Emperor energy, when we're talking about relationship, it's Aries. Aries is the baby of the zodiac. It's a Mars energy, and Mars is very me-based. It's very, this is what I want. This is the way I think it needs to be. And as they go in to try to settle the conflict with you, right? So they want to settle the conflicts, but it's like, no, look, I want things to be better. But, Libra, you just have to do this, and this, and then that, and that. And then you could turn around and say, okay, person, what do you think that you need to work on? And they might mention 1 or 2 innocuous, bogus things, but they're not really looking at themselves. And that's not going to fly. During Scorpio season, superficial anything doesn't work. It doesn't fly. It just doesn't. Superficial anything, no. So unless they're ready to really kind of expose their soul and look at themselves in any kind of honest way, I don't even see you really wanting to be very open to it at this point. Would I be rejected if I contacted you? Do you still want me? I do like, you know, not really. I'm sorry. I don't mean to, because this is the thing, you're working on yourself. Nine of Pentacles is a very, independent endeavor kind of energy. And you just wanting to meet a healthy connection after doing solid work on yourself. I mean, nine is the number of productivity. It's bringing the body, mind, and spirit together. So it's like any sort of like man child or woman child is really not going to be welcomed in your energy right now. Like you've been there, done that, and you really don't want to do it. You're tired. You're tired. 10 of Wands, energy of overwhelm again, recognizing that this staying in this is really not the best thing for moving your life forward with integrity, with purpose. It's not in alignment with your belief system. Because again, this is Saturn and Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the landlord of the ninth house, which rules our moral code, our moral compass, our belief system. And you're just working on you and releasing the toxicity. Like that's where you're at right now. So would they be rejected if they contacted you? Do you still want them? Well, maybe you do, but you don't want them more than you want to continue working on yourself. You're not willing to get sucked down that rabbit hole with them. Because this does feel like a little bit of a controlling energy. Again, not a bad energy. I don't feel like they might have narcissistic tendencies. I'm so careful because it's thrown around so much, right? Everyone has narcissistic tendencies to a certain degree. Everyone, some more than others. But I feel like, yeah, this is very healthy. I'm trying to move on, but thoughts of you still linger and I can't control them. Let's see, why not? What's going on? Trying to move on, but thoughts of you still linger and I can't control them because they're not being really honest with themselves. That's how come King of Pentacles. Oh, okay. Yep. They don't want to change. They don't want to change. Hierophant energy. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, the King of Pentacles, this could be, look, this is somebody who's like very generous and hardworking and they want to be in a settled relationship and all of that. But this energy has no patience for anyone looking to take what's his, whether it's his money. So this person could be very funny with their money and that's an issue, or they're not willing to change. Be more communicative, be more romantic, whatever the case is, right? In your particular situation, they just don't want to come off their mark. For some of you, it could be a little bit of both. Maybe they're funny with their money and they don't want to change, but they have other good qualities. But what's clarifying this, though, is the Hierophant, so the marriage energy or serious relationship. But the Hierophant is also very much about expectations and the need to conform. And that is what on an energetic level is making them feel stuck, is that they know they need to conform to something. There are expectations put upon them in the relationship because, as it turns out, relationships, healthy ones, have a healthy interdependence. We're not talking about codependent and all of that. Interdependence. You rely on each other in a healthy relationship. And if somebody's not showing up in a healthy way, where they're just there to show up and point out all of your flaws and everything that's wrong with you, that is not going to fly. And it's like they can't stop doing that. So they're trying to move on, but thoughts of you still linger and they can't control them. That really has little to do with you and more to do with their own subconscious energy, knowing that they are getting in their own way. Like this is some serious 12th house stuff that they're going through because they don't want to be honest about themselves, about what's going on. So the emotions are here for the last week of October, because it's all we're covering here. It does seem like you're like, you wouldn't mind getting back with them. It's not that you wouldn't want to. You may really want to, but you also don't want to get sucked back into that negativity. You don't want to get back on that hamster wheel. You're working on yourself and you're really trying to feel good about who you are and where you're going and what you're doing in your life. And at this point, they don't possess the emotional intelligence just yet in order to recognize what it is that they're doing. Maybe they never will. Doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them somebody who's probably not a very good connection for you to have right now at this current point in your life. if you're resonating with this. So that is what I have for you guys. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You guys have a beautiful week. I'll see you next time.